come before the commissioners for a vote?
I believe it
First
did.
question.
Would you check your motions to see if we voted on the insurance company?
Yeah, I think we voted on it.
I believe it
I'm
did
sure
come.
we did.
It did come through.
The insurance committee was formed at the request of the commissioners to look at the different plans that were being offered to the county for county employees. The committee did make their recommendation, but the final decision was made by vote by the commission.
What?
McConkey, Representative McConkey was on that committee.
Okay, well, I'm not
Okay.
saying you didn't do it, I just can't recall it. The other
Okay.
question is, Debbie said she didn't know the savings. How can you be voting on an insurance contract of the size of this one without knowing what the savings or the costs are?
Well, she doesn't have it right there in front of her.
I just don't have them with me. They're in a
Okay.
file in my office.
So you do know?
Yeah.
That's correct. We do have the figures, Mr.
Okay,
Babson, yes.
thank you.
Damon, you had yours.
Yeah, I was wondering about the email issue. It seems like it would be a very simple thing to either change the password and only give the password to the commissioners, or create another commission account through Gmail or something like that and have the commissioners know the password and nobody else. That way that the employees can get access to it. And with our email at the Comeau Sun is Gmail based, and I can check it from home. And that seems like it would be a very simple thing to do.
That is going to be happening, right, Mr. Rich?
Yes, with the, we're in the process currently of replacing our email server with current technology, and as soon as that is up and running within the next few weeks, the employees will have access to the email from home. Another idea
The
that
commissioners would have access, not the employees.
He's,
To send it in,
That-
yes, I got you.
Okay.
Okay.
each person would have access to his or her own email, unless it's decided that certain employees or levels of employees do not or should not be allowed that. I can do that. By default, all users are allowed access to his or her own mailboxes, which include email, calendar, contacts, tasks, things like that, will all be available online. Again, I can modify that if so required. Another thought that's occurred to me while I'm sitting here is that if the commissioners would like to have a computer dedicated in their own room that only the commissioners would have access to, I can dig up a computer here. We have taken several out of service throughout the various departments.
Let's do that.
I can do that, and then I can either put the one email that you have on there now. There was a suggestion that you have separate emails. My concern would be that the public would send confidential information to the common email or vice versa. So again, that's an issue for you all to decide. But I certainly can put a computer in the commissioner's office for the commissioner's use, so that the commissioners don't have to rely on the two employees to get their email. It was never my intention to prevent you all from getting your own email. It was just, that's what we had available to us at the time.
I think what I'm looking at is, let's get a computer in the commissioner's office. Number two, anything that comes in ought to go to all three of us. We've been accused whereby some get it and some don't. I'll make sure that when it comes into the commissioner's email, that all three of us get it, no matter what it is.
Yeah, all three of you will have access to the common computer, as well as, once the online site is up, all three will be given that
Okay.
information.
Okay. Any comments by anybody? Okay. Yes, Ed?
I think he won.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Curious why Primex didn't want to renew their contract. Said that they
They came out of
They went out
business.
of the business.
oh, okay. So-
Yeah. Ed?
How's the link from GovernmentOversite.com going on the site?
Quite well.
So it is up there?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it on the front page, or I didn't see it immediately?
I believe there was just a notice put on the commissioner's page letting everyone know that if they click on send us comments, that email would go to the commissioners. Actually, it goes
No.
through me to the
That's
commissioners.
not what he's
I
talking
think
about.
he's
I'm
talking
speaking,
about something else.
2 weeks ago, the commissioners voted to add the link to GovernmentOversite.com so the public can watch the meetings, and I was wondering where that link was going to be put on the website.
So
Oh.
they can watch
They
the
can watch
comments.
this filming on that. That's what you're saying.
We
Okay.
don't
Correct.
record the comments in the minutes, so they can go and a link,
Okay.
see the
I
comments.
was not aware of that, I did not catch that, but we certainly can put the link on, and I believe it probably would be up to you where you'd like that link.
Yes, we did vote to do that,
Okay,
so you can put that on.
sure.
Okay.
I can ask you later where on the website you'd like that
Okay.
to be placed.
So that's what wanted to put it in a prominent spot, so when somebody does come to watch or find information about the commissioners, they can easily find that link.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, all right.
I'd just like to know where we're at in replacing Robin Reed's position.
There should be a report coming in today. They met yesterday and narrowed the candidates down to a few, and then we will be interviewing those few. I don't know how many they are, but the committee looked at all the applicants. So we'll have a report on that.
Do you know how many you had?
Excuse me?
A lot.
I just want to know if you knew how many applied.
I'd say a dozen at least.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Some in-house, some outside. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome, thank you.
Bob?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
And this is, I have the original right here. This is the elevator maintenance contract we discussed last week. There was question, because this is a 2-year contract, that it should be subject to delegation funding annually. I contacted Otis, he had no problem putting that line in there, so we have the option that if for some reason the delegation doesn't fund it in the second year, that the contract is null and void.
The elevators are Otis elevators.
They are Otis elevators, correct.
So when you spoke of the Stanley elevator contract, you were referring to the contract that's in this building.
Right.
Okay.
So I
You're
was correct.
You're correct.
So again, I recommend that we sign the contract for Otis Elevator.
For which one is that?
$465 a month.
Oh, Otis.
Mhm.
The Stanley elevator, that is your new one? For the other one, the 525?
Yes,
Okay, so.
No, that's,
the Otis-
I contacted 3 companies.
no, I think what her question was, is that the renewal contract price for Stanley? Because you said that's coming up.
No, the
in-
Stanley Elevator, I just contacted the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with
It has
her-
nothing to do with this building.
Yes, that's what I'm trying, I just want to make sure it's
No,
clear.
no.
But you already had a contract, it is a renewal contract.
No,
No.
because they're new elevators, they gave us a 1-year warranty contract, which was built into the original construction contract.
Oh,
So-
I'm talking about the elevator here,
No.
in this building.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't,
nothing.
I
We
don't,
haven't
I
gotten
don't
to that
care
yet.
about this
Oh,
building.
okay.
This
No.
is strictly the new nursing home?
Just the nursing home, no. Because you weren't here last week, I'll just run through this again. The contract is, this is a new contract. The elevators were installed back in June or July of last year. They gave us a 1-year warranty contract, full maintenance for 1 year. That is about to expire, so now we have to get into a paying contract. I contacted Otis Elevator for a price. They gave me a price of, they gave me three levels of pricing. The one that I'm recommending here today is the $465 contract, which is the middle contract. I thought, I was a little sticker shocked when I first got that amount, so I contacted the other two companies, Stanley Elevator, Pine State Elevator, thinking that I may be able to get a lesser of a price. I wasn't. Turns out that Otis Elevator gave us the best price and the best package. So that's the basis of my recommendation today.
If I may stand corrected, but I believe the elevator contract here is like $50 a month.
I didn't ask them what's involved in this
Yeah.
elevator here, but don't, this is only one
Yeah,
elevator.
I got three.
I have
know.
three.
I know.
I don't know the differences between the two elevators, what
Yeah.
you have here and what you have over there.
Okay.
But the fact that I called the three different companies and the prices were all similar, indicates
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
it's a pretty standard price.
okay. Now, was there a difference? Stanley Elevator only had a one-year contract. That's all they'd give,
Stanley had a one-year contract, but they were the highest price.
right? And the Otis is a two-year contract. Pine State Elevator
Was a
was
three-year
three-year
contract.
contract
That's right.
at $498 per
That's right.
month. Okay,
Otis Elevator was originally a five-year contract. I was able to negotiate down to a two-year contract, which I presented you last week, but then you brought up the point of delegation funding, so
yeah.
he gladly modified that to give us an out.
So you got the original to be
I
signed?
have the original to be signed here.
Is it in there, that subject to delegation?
It is.
Funding by the
It
village?
is. It's on the third from the last page.
So once again, is this a one-year contract?
This is a two-year contract, but we have an out if the delegation doesn't fund it next year.
Where did you see that?
Third from the last page.
Yeah?
It's under annual renewal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Scotland fund is due annually
Right here.
functional employed, okay.
Okay,
60 days written notice.
okay. What's your pleasure for the board? Do I hear a motion to approve the recommendation
Yeah,
to hire Otis Elevator, or contract with Otis Elevator at $465 per month? You make that?
yeah.
A motion?
Yeah, I make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, so voted.
So the elevators, there are 3 elevators in the new nursing home.
Yes.
2 are only for the residents and 1 is.
No, all three are for
kitchen?
all three are for the residents.
All 3?
All three. Anybody can use all three of them.
Okay.
It's just one elevator has a back door for the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So basically, the kitchen only has one elevator. Everybody else has three.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else you want to report on?
No? I'm good.
That's it. I did call regarding the punch list, and they're supposed to be looking into it, the wiring for that
The hood.
hood up in the physical therapy room.
Yeah.
That's ongoing, and you said that you'd heard from them and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
going to do it. Have they been back?
No, I don't have a date yet.
Okay.
I poked him in the ribs again the other day for a date, but they
Yeah.
still haven't let me know.
And the rug is supposed to be done, I believe, this week?
Well, that's only a whisper in an email, that they indicated that the rug is on its way,
Yep.
carpet's on its way, and then I'll be contacted for scheduling.
This is Mohawk rug, and this is at their
Their expense.
expense. They are the ones that, for no better term, disqualified their product and was going to replace it.
Exactly.
Okay.
What
This is
happened-
the second?
This is the
Second
third time
replacement?
around. Yes.
Okay.
What happened was the original carpet that was installed there, it has a flower design, and the seams didn't match.
Mhm.
They couldn't get it to match. They made it again, couldn't get it to match. Now we're on the third round.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're getting a good carpet, new carpet, every couple of months.
One year later, we're getting a new carpet, so
All right.
we're ahead of the game there.
Okay. Good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I I've asked Ann Aiton to come in to talk a little bit about the registry as to how we're going for income and so forth.
Do I have to move over to the
I
hot
used
seat?
to
or-
wherever you want.
I have some things to pass out, so I.
All right. There's nothing in particular, I just was
I
interested in
understood.
knowing
I understood.
how the funding is coming in and,
We're definitely a little ahead of target, which is always good. These are statements that show you all our income and where it comes in from. If you look on the left-hand side, that's where the revenue is generated, and on the right side is what happens to that money that we take in. And if you look at the bottom, where the yellow line is, the amount that we have given to the county so far this year is $378,660.77, and then $15,000 in the surcharge, equipment surcharge account. June alone for the county, what I gave to the general fund, $73,848.09. So we're seeing a steady
increase?
build. Yeah, there's definitely increase in sales now. Whether that will be more or less a seasonal kind of thing, we have no way of, obviously.
Is this
Unless I was
giving-
out selling the real estate, I couldn't be telling you that, you know.
Is this indication that the economy is getting better?
Well, I have to admit that what we've seen a lot of is waterfront, which is why you have the amount you have. The sale price is, we get the 4% of the total that we give to the state.
Mhm.
And when you have commissions where people are buying a house at $2 million, they're paying $30,000 in transfer tax, and we get 4% of that. So that adds up a lot quicker than when you're dealing with a house that's selling for
A non-waterfront
$150.
house, yeah.
It makes up for 10 or 12, 14 average price. And this is just the numbers are kind of funny here, because all they're going to tell you is these kinds of documents on the top. But we record other kind of documents, and we are already over 8,000 documents so far in June. So we're definitely seeing an increase. What does discharge mean? A discharge of mortgage. You know, those are some of the categories, and most of the rest of them end up under other, and you just don't see that column. Things like death certificates, trustee certificates, things like that you can't have a column for every kind of document that we get in, subordination agreements and.
So for the first 6 months, we've had 1,744 deeds recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're pretty sure, we had a problem with that column, and so I stopped using it for a whole year. Hopefully it would, because they were throwing everything in that didn't have another category. So we were getting things in there that didn't belong in that category, and that had to do with the software. And when I picked up on it, I called them and I said, how is this? I know, you know, that isn't an accurate figure. And so Anna went in and deleted all the different things that didn't belong in there, so that what we see there should be true deeds. And I asked her before we printed this off yesterday if she felt that now we were on the right track, and I believe that's about right. Now, when you look at that number of deeds, just so you know,
Yeah.
we have people who are doing estate planning, they're putting their properties in trust. These don't always generate tax income.
Okay.
For us, just recording income. But we have people who take their property in and out of trust, even because banks won't let them mortgage. Some banks won't let them mortgage unless they take it out, put it in their individual name, and then after the mortgage, they can put it back in the trust. But, so there's a lot of...
Changing around.
Yeah, so even that, as far as bona fide sales, which, like Registry Review, which is a publication that publishes all the kinds of data for the whole state, for registries and foreclosure notices and bankruptcies. They do other things other than what we do in the registry. Probably we would have a better number of actual bona fide sales.
Mm-hmm.
because those are ones that put at least above a $40 transfer tax, and that's the minimum you can put on. And some trusts that are revocable or irrevocable, they have to put on the $40 or not. So there's a whole lot of,
This is public information, right?
absolutely.
What, you have on location on this sheet, Carroll.
That means it didn't have a town,
How could something?
Carroll County. They send in discharges all the time. They give us the book and page of the mortgage, but they don't tell us what town the property was in. Death certificates do not have a town. So you've got a lot of, even there may be a town, but it might not be in Carroll County. They could die in Massachusetts, they could die in New York. So I'm just saying, we get a lot of kinds of documents that don't really,
Not necessarily.
they don't even require a town be on it. So we just put it as Carroll, meaning Carroll County, and I usually put a little star and put that down on the
Because
bottom.
there is a town in Carroll, but it's in colors.
Absolutely.
It's in colors.
Yes, we get some confusion with that as well.
Yes, okay.
But I believe I've stayed within all my budget guidelines, and the income, like I say, seems to be right on target, if not a little better. So anything else you have?
What's under plans? Are those
Surveys.
estate plans?
Surveys.
Survey.
Yeah, when you're talking about the, on the income, or no? Or you're looking at this?
I'm looking at
sheet?
this one, yeah.
That's plans recorded, the numbers, and they're way down. Back in the day when we were doing a lot of subdivisions and stuff, we were seeing a whole lot more activity that way. And on your income statement that I gave you,
Mhm.
if you look over on the left-hand column, and you see coming down, the first one is recording fees,
Yeah.
that we've generated income by recording fees, and that will, then it breaks it down further as to documents,
Mhm.
plans, and tax liens, and then each category down. And I think what's interesting, and I just underlined it, is what we've given to the state. So you can see the amount of money that we actually are in charge of collecting and giving reports to the state every month. If you look over on your left-hand side, where I just underlined it with a pen,
Mhm.
on the right-hand
Right-hand
side,
side.
excuse me.
Mhm.
I'm looking at it upside down. Sorry. You'll see those amounts that went for LCHIP and what went for real estate transfer tax, and it's
Yep.
a
Yeah.
pretty substantial amount of money. I mean, not being that we're not one of the small counties and we're not one of the big counties, so we're,
A medium-sized county.
we kind of fall, just, there's, if you look at the large counties, you're looking at Rockingham, you're looking at Hillsborough, then it goes down maybe to Merrimack and Stratford and Grafton. And then we would be at the top of the last five, probably. We run pretty much neck and neck with Belknap. It's almost comical. I can call over and ask Barbara, what's your docket number? Tell us about, are we running about the same? We're always within a couple hundred of each other. So, which is pretty amazing to me, because when we're talking about the volume that we get in. And then it goes on down from there. You've got Cheshire, and then Sullivan, and then Coas.
It's
So-
interesting, the top three towns for deeds, Conway is 285, Muldenborough 226, and Bartlett 217.
Well, let's talk about that if you want to. I mean, you've got a lot of, Bartlett, the number can be deceiving. They have a lot of condominiums. They have a lot of timeshares. Those also do deeds.
Okay.
So even the foreclosure numbers, I went through at one point, was trying to decide which town was the worst, because to my mind, the ones that I thought were the highest count was Wakefield.
Wakefield.
But
huh?
it wasn't, it was Bartlett, and it was because timeshares, it throws your numbers, so you can make these do what you want, as you can with any set of numbers. I'm just trying to enlighten, I just thought I would give you this as kind of
Yeah,
a base,
yeah.
but, yeah, believe me, there's little idiosyncrasies that come to play in all of those numbers.
Okay. You got anything else?
What does FSTAT mean?
The financial statement, UCC's on, oh, say you had collateral, I mean, your tangible property. I mean, if you had equipment on your site, you know, say you sell pools or something, you might have a UCC on your stuff that you have out for display. UCCs used to be, the most common one was on mobile homes, but now that they're real estate, sometimes we see a UCC, sometimes we see a regular mortgage. You know, and a lot of this has to do with the difference between state to state. Maine does not consider a mobile home real estate. They consider it like a car, like it used to be. You just did it with a bill of sale. We, as of August of '83, considered mobile homes to be real estate because for the most part, they're pretty permanent. They're not moved on. And so they're also taxable, except for when they're brand new. If they resell, they're taxable. They have to pay the state real estate transfer tax. But it does, because of where we are and because we're on the state line, it does create a lot of confusion because we have several mobile home parks in Conway and in Albany. And they buy them from Mr. Schiavi or something over in Maine, and he doesn't give them a deed, and we start the whole little confusion all over again.
All right. Discharges,
Of mortgages.
decharges of mortgages.
Yeah,
These are mortgages that have been paid up.
yes. A lot of times it's because they're refinancing. They discharge the old, put on the new mortgage. So the discharges, that's,
Oh, so this doesn't mean they don't have a mortgage, just they may just change.
You know.
It could be they don't have a mortgage.
you know, because we're called a registry of deeds, it is probably kind of misleading, but actually any document that relates to real estate is, you know, by statute, supposed to be recorded in the county in which the property is located. So consequently, we get all kinds of documents, and, you know, if you have a beef with your neighbor and you go over to the court and you file action, you know, you could get a writ of attachment or something, a boundary line agreement, whatever. So there's, our documents are, the numbers and the types of document are very, very long and wide.
Interesting.
Okay, you have any questions?
No.
Dorothy, you have any questions?
Thank you.
Are you welcome?
Good, thank you.
I hope it continues.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, Mike, you representing the sheriff's office this morning? I guess they asked you to come in for two reasons. One, report on the HR committee as to the recommendations as to how many you narrowed it down to. You don't have to mention any names. And second, a little bit about how you feel we can handle the dispatch for Conway, Moultonborough, and Wolfboro, where the sheriff's department is coming from, so that we know what we're going to be talking about at 1 o'clock. The 1 o'clock meeting is open to the public. And what that's about is that the three towns of Moultonborough, Conway, and Wolfboro want tax relief because they're doing their own dispatching versus using the sheriff's department. Which means that should they get a tax break, that means all the other towns, their rate is going to go up tremendously in the sheriff's department, because they'd have to pick up quite a bit. And we've had one meeting, they were to go back. Go ahead, you talk about with the sheriff's department. I'll keep my mouth shut.
We are scheduled to meet at 1 o'clock today, and the meeting that we had started went down a direction that I wasn't expecting. I thought that they were coming in just looking for a tax relief. Now, at least Moultonborough's town administrator is coming to us saying, you know, we want your numbers, can you take us on? And saying that we don't, you know, we want to keep our window, so it wouldn't be worth it for us to come to you, so that's why we want a tax release. But I got a call from Scott Carr, actually, a couple of days ago when he read the article in one of the papers. And he had told me that when he was a sheriff
it's his opinion, and I haven't looked into it, that we could take, the infrastructure is there to take on the whole county, all towns, to include Molten Borough. We wouldn't have to put a microwave link in. I think, personally, I think we would just look at maybe adding a person in dispatch for, but they decided not to come to us because the fire chief wanted to stay with whatever dispatching was in place.